Well, just recently, Tory Lanez' wife filed for divorce after
I
being
saw that.
married less than a year.
I saw that.
Now, she was there during the sentencing, right?
She was, yeah.
And she spoke?
She did. She really went to bat for him too. She spoke pretty extensively about it.
What'd she say?
Yeah. Talking about his childhood and how she knew him, and because the argument at the time was that he was an alcoholic, such that it was a mental disorder and justified a lesser sentence, and that he should get probation because of this, because he just needed treatment for his alcoholism. So she was talking about, and then also PTSD from his mom dying. So she's known him since 6th grade. So she talked about his childhood and teenhood and how they kind of grew up together. And she talked about, alcohol in his life, or when he got older, how he was using that or something. But I could just tell that she'd spent a lot of time with the counselor that the Tory's defense team had hired, because there was a counselor actually at his sentencing that said that she was willing to drive to go to the jail and pick him up herself and drive him to the rehab that she owned, and he would just stay at the rehab. And you could tell that she had talked to Tory's girlfriend a lot, like extensively, given her a lot of like emotional support. So I could just tell the girlfriend had like really invested herself in this. I mean, obviously it's the father of her child, so.
Okay. And they got married, I guess, before the sentencing, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't quite remember when it went from fiance to wife in the court filings, but it was like within a few filings, all of a sudden he's no longer engaged, he's married.
He's now married, and I mean, a lot of times men get married for conjugal visits and the such.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, is there any advantage of being married outside of that while you're in prison? And my thing is, what do you accomplish by filing for, for divorce from someone who's already in prison? If you want space, that's already kind of implicit in the situation.
Yeah. No, I've been a little disappointed in the reporting on it. I mean, it's not, a divorce isn't anything that I'm going to dive into as a reporter. But you'd think this is like prime opportunity for some of these blogs, right? Like, come on, like dig into this, But I haven't really seen any real on the ground gumshoe reporting about the true reasons for this divorce. It's kind of disappointing.
Well, there was some information I got from various people, and I was told that early on, Tory was offered a 3 and a 4-year plea deal, but he had turned down those plea deals, which ultimately ended up in a 10-year sentence. Have you actually heard any of this?
I did ask somebody in the DA's office about that, and they said that they didn't think that was true because one, for issues regarding his immigration status, would kind of not put him up for any kind of like lenient plea deal because he'd be deported after that. And they didn't think that there'd been any kind of offer, but they didn't know for sure. And this was one of the prosecutors. There were 2 prosecutors on the case, and this was the one who hadn't been on the case the entire time, but he said he was like 99.9% sure there hadn't been an offer. So, I mean, I don't know. That's the only person that I've actually talked to within who would have like direct knowledge of it, and they've said no. So, but it does make sense there would be some kind of offer to him in that, 3 to 4 year. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Well, because early on, Meghann wasn't cooperating.
Yes.
And this is what I mean. Like very early on, before the whole social media back and forth, and before he got her angry and started doing songs about her, like she was basically, she had lied to the police when they initially got pulled over.
Yes. Yeah. That was part
so there was a moment where Meghann was somewhat on Tory's side to a certain degree.
For like the first few days.
That's what I'm saying. So at that point, do 3 years, we're done. But clearly he didn't go for it. Like I said, I heard it from 2 different people, and both people are connected into the legal system in their own way. I can't say who they are.
I'm not sure if like the few days when she was lying is not when there would have been a plea offer, because he hadn't even been charged then. So that was, I mean, until she came forward, he wasn't even going to be charged.
Right, fair enough.
But he could have, the plea deal offer, any plea deal offer would have come later on.
Fair enough. And once he's done with his time, he will 100% be deported to Canada?
That's what everyone's indicated, but I don't have direct knowledge of, his case or what exactly the immigration court would do. But I mean, that was the talk from the prosecutors in court.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, he has access to high-end legal assistance, and they're going to do everything possible to try to get him out.
I'm not sure. Right now, he's got this Unite the People, which is actually a nonprofit for.
What happened to his high-end?
Oh, I mean, Jose Baez's name is on the filings, but he's definitely not the one writing the filings. If you read the quality of his appeal,
why wouldn't you get the actual high-priced lawyer to do the real work?
Well, maybe he's not being paid anymore. I don't know. It's pretty obvious to me that Crystal Morgan is the one doing the filings, and she's with Unite the People, which it's actually a registered 501c3, which helps prisoners and navigate the court system.
Yeah, but isn't there an assumption this is for poor prisoners who can't afford actual legal help?
Not
multi-platinum artists.
Really, there's a lot of reporting that can be done on.
This is actually kind of interesting. I mean, why is he using a nonprofit?
Well, and for them
to potentially using the resources of someone who actually can't afford real legal help.
Yeah, and Jose Baez is technically co-counsel on it, and how much does he charge for him to be working with a 501c3 like that? It's just, but I mean, they're hooked up with Tory because he was a board member for them, and Caesar McDowell, who's the founder of Unite the People, is a big backer of Tory. So I think Crystal Morgan is, she wants to work for Unite the People as a lawyer, and here's a case she's doing. So
okay,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.